evening, everybody. Welcome to Old Gray Bricks Thursday night. We are here with Moto, who's joined us tonight. Welcome, Moto. Fazoom is not with us tonight because he would rather go see a Spider-Man movie than hang out with all of you on the internet. So, boo to Fazoom.
I mean, we saw it before.
Yeah, we saw it. And we made it. So that shows the level of commitment that's going on, is that we saw the movie and still made it, and Fazoom didn't. So,
and Small Paul has the T-shirt to prove it.
That's right, Small Paul representing.
I just wore this because I.
So, welcome to Thursday night. We're just this is kind of a messy Thursday. We don't really have like a specific topic.
No? Oh dear.
Not really. But since you're here, we can probably chit chat about Brickworld a little bit. I'm sure Matthew can tell us about Dolly Parton. Whatever comes up.
Jeff, can we get an update on the Canadian brick conventions? Because I believe one of them is going on this week or last weekend.
There was a smaller show that the Quebec guys did near Montreal on the weekend. It's just a 2-day show. It wasn't a convention, just like in an arena type thing that they set up. And they use that as a fundraiser for their bigger show, the actual convention that's happening in September. So.
Oh, cool! An arena. Do they have an octagon?
Maybe.
Just a bunch of people like trying to belt and getting thrown against the side and
hockey arena. No ice. Yeah.
And then the big Toronto one is Bricks in the Six, which is in late July.
Yep, June. July 22nd, 23rd, I believe it was.
I go
23rd, 24th, somewhere in there. So yeah, that one's coming up. But Brickworld's a little closer. Matt's already started driving to Brickworld. It's going to take him 2 weeks to get there, which apparently he's driving Fred Flintstone's car.
Left this morning at 8:30 a.m. It'll take me 2 weeks. 2 week lead time to roll into Brickworld. So
there's going to be a lot of dots in the bottom of those boxes by the time you get there.
There's going to be a lot of like empty Diet Coke cans, backseat, and like wrappers from. I went to Costco and got like the box of like 50 bags of chips.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we're in the middle of nowhere and there's no restaurant.
Yeah.
Because my other is maps and counties, and so we are traveling through counties that I have never been to before. And so today, for example, we definitely were off the beaten track. I mean, we ended up going to north. We got the last county I hadn't visited in eastern Tennessee today, and then we cut up through the tip of Virginia and then up into Kentucky. But there was a point where we were driving through either Virginia or Kentucky, and we did not see another vehicle for 20 minutes. Like that's...
I'm confused. Virginia?
Yeah, so I know it seems weird, but Virginia sticks way over, and there's a part of Virginia that's in between Tennessee and Kentucky, and we drove through that little part of it.
Okay.
And also, that part of America, the mountain ridges are at a diagonal, so you can't really. There isn't a road that takes you like directly north. You kind of either have to go northeast or you have to go northwest, but you can't just go due north. And I had already been due north, so we went northeast, knocked out a couple counties in Virginia, and then cut back and went northwest to Hazard, Kentucky, which was
Virginia. Okay.
The birthplace of Colonel Sanders.
Interesting.
Dana Zool.
Good evening, everyone.
So do you give the movie a thumbs up? Or wait, no, you weren't at the movie.
I didn't. I have not seen the movie yet. I will probably not see the movie for some time.
Yeah.
Well, we liked the first one
movie instead of being here.
Yeah. Chris decided that the movie was more important than we were.
I think Chris has a very busy week. It's okay.
I'm pretty sure Lego's more important than Lego.
What Paul said.
Do you want me to do the tour?
Well, snap.
Sure. We know you're dying to. Give us the tour.
Give us the tour.
Let me see if I can reverse.
He's going to do it anyway if we don't ask.
I need to. How do I reverse the direction of my on the iPad?
Well, it's an Apple product, so who knows? Some intuitive method.
That looks like the best little whorehouse. Oh no, that's a 9 to 5 painting.
So we are sitting at breakfast called the Dolly, and every room is dedicated to Dolly Parton. So this is the living room or the dining room. You come into the kitchen.
Moto.
And we have
Moto, you
Dolly.
gotta give us a break, buddy.
Dolly's on the fridge. And if you want to cook, there is Dolly's Tennessee Mountain Home Cooking. Very convenient. And when you first come in, there is
there
the
at the door.
yes, she is.
Oh, literally.
There's
Yeah.
the life-size cardboard cutout and the flaming pink fireplace with the shrine to the star of our B&B right above there.
People joining our show right now are like, "What is happening?"
That's not Dollywood.
And then in the den area, it has the music, of course, of Dolly Parton. And it also has her movies like 9 to 5 and videos. So, it's pretty kitsch-tastic as places go. The truth of the matter is, this would just be an old house in the middle of Kentucky, but by making it Dolly Parton themed, they got me to stay here. So it worked. And I kept this one. I told Thomas, don't look at the first place we're staying because I wanted him to be surprised when we walked in. And the keychain has like a little cutout of Dolly Parton, and I was like, "Do you know who this is?" But I will admit that the likeness on the keychain was not very accurate. And he was like, "I don't know who. I can't tell who that is." And so we walked in, and then there's the Dolly wood cutout. There's also a pink bike in the bedroom. And he was like, "This is great. This is so over the top, kitschy. It's fantastic." So it was fun. It's just I don't like staying in your standard hotel rooms, and so when we do trips, I'm always looking for quirky B&Bs that are a little bit different. So we'll be visiting some like Victorian mansions where we have a room, and we'll be camping. And we've stayed in a yurt. We've stayed in a fire station. We've stayed in a 19th century post office before. So I always like to find something that's different. Just makes the road trip a little bit more fun. And every time you check in, it's, you're always like, well, what's going to be in this place? Some of them have really fun little side features and things like that. So I know Airbnb is like the devil because it's raising rents in some cities. But when I travel and I go off the beaten path, to cities and towns that don't see a lot of tourism, I could stay in the Motel 6 or I could stay in a B&B with some characters. So I'm always looking for some places with characters.
So I'm thinking if Matt drops off the chat in the next 2 weeks before Chicago, we know he's booked in at one of the horror type Airbnbs, and he's been killed.
He very well could be at a haunted house.
I'm pretty sure when I go to Isle Royal, there won't be any Wi-Fi, so I could not join if that was a show date. But I don't think it's a show date. I think that's a Friday. Let me check my schedule. So, and of course, there's a spreadsheet
Of course.
with every county, the miles traveled, and the weather forecast for that day, and the points of interest. So
You have a spreadsheet that has the weather forecast for your whole trip?
it has the high and low for each location. So tomorrow the high is supposed to be 88 and the low is 62 at the place where we're sleeping.
So in 2 weeks from now, that is not going to be accurate.
Well, you're right. I use the extended forecast. It will change. It won't not be exactly right. But
So do you have the ability to update your spreadsheet while you're on your trip?
If
And
I had a
print it?
printer, I can update. I brought my laptop. I can update the spreadsheet, but I probably won't print out a copy. So
But you could put it to your tablet. Though.
what's that?
You could put it on your tablet, though.
Yeah, I could.
So there you go, Jeff. He's got
I'm
it
just-
covered. He's got
I'm
it
just like, you're on a 2-week trip. The weather is not going to be predictable. I mean, if I look at my weather app, usually the weather after day
covered.
7.
Geez, Jeff. I guess in
identical.
this day and age,
So
what
I'm
are
going
you
to
going to do?
I'm going to drop a truth bomb here, Mr. Studies show that the accuracy of 10-day forecasts have improved by 50% over the last 2 decades.
Well, 50% of 100% inaccurate is still 100% inaccurate.
So the old ones basically used historic temperatures as the forecast, and the newer ones actually incorporate weather models, and they're actually doing a much more. They're doing a better job of predicting the highs for each day.
So
I feel smarter already.
There you go.
I see it's strange. I just wake up and when my morning alarm goes off, the Google Assistant tells me the forecast for the day. Just reads it right off. Done.
So the accuracy of the things here is that it really is
I
significant.
did- good.
Over there's the high.
Well, the trouble, Meowto, is that I had to pack 2 weeks in advance of being places, so I had to at least have a rough estimate of temperatures. And it turns out that our trip is 2 completely weather forecasts. The beginning and the end is highs in the 80s, and the middle is highs of 62, 67, 69, 60. So we have the very chilly at night and very temperate in the day, middle, and then we've got the hot at the beginning and the end.
So it's basically dressed like the Midwestern layers.
Well, actually, I was going to say, Moto is probably most experienced with that because that's basically Denver.
That's
weather.
one day. That's one day in Denver. You just described my entire day today.
I mean,
but
Colorado basically, modernized the layered concept of clothing because that's the only way to survive the multiple changing temperatures.
because you can get 30-degree swings in the high plains, which is what Denver is. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, really, my husband brought 2 bags. Basically, one of them is like the cold weather days has its own bag, and then the hot weather days has its bag. So depending on which part of the trip we're in, he could just grab the appropriate bag of stuff. So,
Not to be confused with the prior conversation earlier in the week that was about bags and cornhole. For those of you who are watching these episodes back to back.
The other thing that happened is I broke out a new hat. So I think this is the first time I've actually worn this hat. So this is for Pride Month, which started, and it's a lion, of course, a pride.
Oh, that is like layers of pun.
Yes,
it is.
it
Layers
is.
of pun.
It's a pride of prideful lions or something.
Awesome.
But it's the inaugural wearing of the pride hat. So
Stop lying to us, Matthew.
I'm not lying. I have to say
roaring with laughter.
that this is the longest road trip I've ever gone on, and the amount of planning of things that kept going into my phone, my notes on my phone of things to do before we left. Everybody else that's going to Brickroll, which is a lot of you on the panel, all of that stuff, you guys can wait another 10 days. I can't. I had to do everything by yesterday.
But like you, this was my planner for our 10-day winter vacation.
Nice.
So I do everything, but the weather was a little. I mean, that seemed a little intense. But yeah, I've got like all the possible locations depending on weather
You got
to go. Different outcomes, yeah. No, I mean, it's literally like if it snows, we're going here. If it doesn't snow, if it's good weather, we prefer to go here. There's just like different options within this binder. But yeah, I get you, man. I've got one right here.
Spreadsheets. It's more efficient.
Yep.
But so last night, usually what happens is the night before we get on the road trip, I'm furiously finishing things, right? Doing dishes and putting stuff away and packing.
I know that's a fabrication because I have come to your house when you've been on the road and the dishes were not done before you left.
Well, it must have been a short trip because I don't want to
been,
come back to. I don't want to come back to like decaying food in the sink. So, or maybe that was the time where I realized I didn't want to come back.
Yeah, he's going to come back and it's going to be the last of us in his kitchen. So
I took out all the old milk from the refrigerator and all that stuff. But this time, it got to be last night, and I actually had everything done on my list, and I was like, huh, I actually have some time to kill. So like watch TV and just relax. And I was like, wow, this is different. And then this morning, I woke up earlier than my alarm, and I just got up and did the last morning things I needed to pack. And then we left about an hour earlier than, at least a half hour earlier than I thought we would. But I have to say, like, getting on the road, I felt like this weight was off my shoulders, because for the last, I don't know, 2 to 3 weeks, the back of my mind keeps saying, and don't forget that, and don't forget that, and don't forget that, and don't forget that. But I got in the car, and if I forgot something, it's too late. We're in the car, it doesn't matter. Either we have to go buy it at the store, or we just don't need it. You know, like, the book is closed. I no longer have to, like, keep thinking about, did I do everything in my list, checklist. And then to top it off, I got this sale ad for a very useful thing for my display at Brickworld. There was a 2/3 off on a certain hockey jersey, which I own Red Wings jerseys, but I did not own a number 9 Howe, which someone needs to wear in front of my mosaic for the full Ferris Bueller Days Off effect. And it was incredibly cheap. It was like a Father's Day sale or something. I don't remember what their theme was, but so I called the hotel.
I think we can sell tickets.
What's that?
I think we can sell tickets.
Okay. I told Thomas has the like Irish hat that Cameron wears in the movie, and I told him, you're going to be Ferris, like, because it's pretty big. It's got long sleeves. Yeah. I'm a little rotund, so I have to buy the double XL, but the sleeves are too long. But the sleeves will be just fine on him because he's tall.
But it'll be fine on if somebody comes up and says, "Hey, can I get my picture in front of this?" You can say, for an additional $1, you can get your picture in front of this wearing the Howe jersey.
There you go. That's actually a clever idea. And I told him that, I might have to say at at noon, come back, Cameron will make an appearance, and he can walk and start standing with his back to the crowd or something. But so I called the Schaumburg Inn, and the Schaumburg Convention Center, and I said, if I have a package shipped, will you accept it? Will you hold it? And they're like, as long as it's not heavier than X amount of pounds. I'm like, it's gonna be under that. Yeah, it's not heavy. So they said, yeah, we will hold it. So it gives it 2 weeks to ship to Chicago, and by the time I get there, it should be ready to go.
So, sorry, I'm curious now because that's an idea. Because I was thinking of grabbing some more T-shirts and stuff. But what did you just address it to yourself, or like how do you do that?
So when you go to, you have to put your home address in the billing section, and there's a box that you check, and it says shipping address. And most of the time, I'm always going to ship it to myself, so I just click on that. But in this case, you just put my name and then the hotel's address, and they'll hold it.
And they'll look it up at some point. Like I wasn't sure if you had to put a reservation number or something, so they knew you.
No, they said it'll go to the mail room, and it'll sit there. So.
Oh yeah, okay. So when you go in, you say, "There's a package here for me," and
yeah,
cool. Okay.
Because actually, it's good information to know that, because I was wanting to do 1 or 2 of the parts drafts, and I'm not finding one of the sets, and so I was halfway thinking about ordering it and having it delivered to me there. Because the other thought was I was going to have Jeff see if he could find it when he's on the way down.
Yeah, I could do that too.
But having it shipped there is also an option, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Dana, I'm going to a Lego store the very first day.
Oh. Well, okay.
Because I can't get everything in the car, and double VIP point starts June 8th, and I'm a cheap man. I want all the points I can get.
Well, then maybe I have you pick it up.
Yeah, because the sets that I had already had some of the sets, like I had the magical house and the flowers, but some of the other sets I did not. And if we're going to do a private draft of Rivendell, I'm going to wait till there's double points, and I'll go buy it.
Yeah.
The store and get double points. So they had it in stock in Atlanta, so I didn't think it was going to be out of stock. But if it's out of stock, there's also like 5 Lego stores in Metro Chicago. So
yeah, and they'll probably have extra stock coming in just because of Brickworld happening, I would think.
Hopefully.
But at the same time, if it's anything new, you might not find that. But
in fact, maybe what I'm going to do is when we get there, unload the luggage bring in the boxes for the mosaic, and then immediately go to the Lego store before everybody else is.
That's a good plan.
And I have to go to Home Depot because I cannot fit the metal L bracket into my car. I could fit all the 5-foot poles, but not the 8-foot L bracket. So I'm going to go buy one, and I think I figured out how to elevate the thing up. $2 cinder blocks.
That's not a bad idea.
It's like a foot. It's like 16 inches, so it's like a foot and a foot and a third. And if I turned one on its side and put another one, I could get it 2 feet off the ground, and I think that would be pretty stable.
Now, what are you doing for the brace to keep it at an angle or keep it straight?
It'll be pretty much straight up. I'm thinking at the bottom, it's only going to be out.
No, but I mean, what keeps it straight?
The L bracket along the bottom. The weight.
That's
will
very-
spread. The L bracket will sit on the cinder blocks. And
So here is my thought, because I got to get a hold of Connor and figure this out, because basically as of Monday-ish is when Tuesday is when I got a confirmation that because I thought by this point in time this week I was going to be telling everybody I'm not going, and luckily my mother-in-law is going to come down and spend the week with my wife while I'm out of town. So now I can go into overdrive of planning. But 10 feet tall, I just can't see them doing me anywhere except up against a wall. Now, if I'm up against a wall, it'll lean against the wall and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to be
You didn't bring
somewhere
a
else,
garage?
I'm
I
going
have
to
an
have
answer.
to put a
I have an
brace in the
answer.
back.
I have an answer.
Okay.
I asked Connor to ask the layout people if we were against the wall. And I know that I'm against the wall. He messaged me and he goes, "You are against the wall."
Okay.
So confirmed, I'm against the wall. I'm assuming the same is true for you. I'm assuming we're right next to each other, but I don't know.
It would be stupid for them not to, but it's not my show. So I'm going to find out and see if that's the case. If that's the case, the brace and everything, all I got to do is put it all together and boom, pop it up against the wall, and it's good to go. Because in
If
my
it's
head, I
against
got
the wall,
an idea.
you just don't want it to flex. So all you need is to get it. You just
Right.
need it nice and stiff and upright.
Right, which the polls do. Yes, Jeff. Yes, Jeff. Yes.
You need it-
Somewhere Jeff McElwee is rolling.
Nobody wants a flaccid mosaic at a
No.
cabin.
Yeah. So
Your
I got,
cinder block idea is a very concrete thought, though.
that
It
is
is.
good.
It is.
And see, luckily I don't have to lift mine up because you're already gonna be able to see it from across the room.
I'll bring this for you in case you have problems.
Thank you.
It'll seal that flex.
This is where we need our Flex Seal gift that Mark
Oh,
Ricker
I just thought about
literally-
The other
That's-
thing, Dana, that I'm getting at Home Depot is when I'm cutting the zip ties, I'm using tin snips, which, thank you.
There we go. That's what I was aiming for.
The tin snips cut through those zip ties like butter.
I
And
know,
have
that's what I
one
told-
pair.
I told you I have.
What are you using?
It's a pair of zip tie.
It's a zip tie remover.
No, it's this is boring. Yeah, quality content.
So
Hey,
to
it's
spice it up
Lego
a bit,
related content. This is not Dollywood talk. This is Lego related.
a bit, I was just thinking, and I wouldn't actually do this, but I think it would be funny to just walk back, like as you're pulling mosaic parts out of your box, walk past your box and just drop a handful of dots in there loose, just so that they'll all fall down to the bottom, and then when you pull them out, finally you'll be like, "Oh crap!" And then
I brought a repair kit because there's already dots popping off. When I laid it down to take it apart into sections, there were dots. I probably picked up 15 dots off the carpet. So I will get out the laptop. My goal is to have it upright by the end of Wednesday. And then sometime on Thursday or Friday, I'm going to bring the laptop and the repair kit and I'll go fill in the holes. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Fill in the holes? Was that too much?
no, they have it upright by Wednesday. I'm like, wow, it's going to take you that long?
I
Oh,
get
but it'll be
that.
wrecked for the whole weekend.
There is a pill for that. Anyway,
Well, actually, there's a pill that causes that too. So,
Do I
yes,
need to consult a doctor if it's upright the whole week?
I have the P6 Pro wire
Yeah.
cutters.
Hold it up. I have a pair of those, and they did not cut as easily as the tin snips. The tin snips were amazing.
Oh no, these things, yeah, these are like butter. It's just
Okay, maybe mine need to be sharpened then because they were not very effective.
well, I specifically bought a brand new pair
Okay,
just because I didn't want to have to confirmed to myself that I would, go find the ones that I already have, and these were a little bigger than the ones that I have, so shut it down.
Yeah, and the reason I have these is because this will cut most Lego components pretty cleanly, so they're dual use.
Yeah,
and I mean flex too, for anybody who just like clutch their brick separators around their like pearls.
Ooh.
So,
So Dana, the one thing I would say is that when I laid mine on the floor and I was starting to cut the zip ties that connected the stabilizing rods,
yeah,
is I realized that it's taken a lot of time to cut all those, and so I thought, if I get a second pair, I might incorporate my husband and be like, "Can you help me just click, 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 click?" We could work from like both ends, and together, me and my husband could cut a lot of rods. So.
Yes, you could. Yes, you could.
But it occurred to me that taking apart the mosaic is going to take considerably longer than boxing up buildings, which is usually what I'm doing.
Oh my gosh, you might actually have to spend more than 5 minutes to break down. What will my heart do for you?
So I messaged Meredith, whose building is in the heart of New Hashima.
Wait.
Are you going to unpack yours on Monday because you have to wait for everybody else to get there?
I think Moto is getting a sense from the other side.
No, I hear it in the distance. It's like a small violin, and I hear it. Yeah, I hear it playing.
But it's playing horrible music.
Moto's really, he's heartbroken.
Matthew, as a moon-based monorail guy, I have no sympathy whatsoever for you. I'm actually looking forward to the show because my setup and breakdown of the habitats and the mosaic will still be quicker than breaking down the moon base.
Will it really?
I believe so.
Okay. It'll be like working 9 to 5.
It will. However, I know that because, and I have my fingers crossed on this because I'm hoping to get my mosaic transported by the Bricker Builds guys, and if that's the case, they're going to take like hours for them to break down, so I have plenty of time to take down the mosaic. I know that the habitats come down pretty quick, baby space comes down pretty quick, and I'm going to put the cat back into its box, so breakdown should be very, very, very quick. Very quick.
But they might leave one box in a long time.
Yeah.
There is
which box are they going to free?
Except for Adam's not involved.
Yeah, this is true.
So
if he's missing part of his face, that could definitely undercut the impact.
Adam's going, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he and Emily are going, but they're cramming everything in their car. They're completely separate from the builds. Speaking
of Dana and his height, what kind of responses have you gotten since you posted the photos of you standing next to your 10-foot mosaic, which makes you look tiny, and you're not tiny. But you look tiny next to full extra large Bowie. So.
I think Mark had the best comment by far. That he didn't quite realize how large it was. So
you get that a lot, though.
I do. Actually, yes, I do. But there hasn't been so much of a. I mean, because like on my Instagram, I posted the photo of itself, and then you had to swipe to see me standing next to it. Where on April's of Facebook and Lego Show Off, which actually has 147,000 members, which I thought was really strange compared to like the 50 some odd thousand that AFL's on Facebook. But it's at over 100,000, or it's got over 1,000 likes and like 256 comments or something crazy like that.
Wow.
On the
Lego I left two comments, so like I doubled.
A couple of people have come back and left a couple comments, or there's been a small conversation, but lots of positive comments, lots of I hope this is coming to Chicago kind of thing and that stuff, and so it's I'm excited for people to see it in person. That's what I think that's probably the most common comment I get is that they can't wait to see it in person.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you like my comment of my music buddy from grad school, Rob O'Reilly, who suggested that you build a different Bowie?
So the funny thing is my wife's like, so are you going to do the Thin White Duke or Halloween Jack? I mean,
You know, once you start one Bowie, you just can't hardly help but go to another Bowie.
well, I have a buddy of mine from high school, and he lives in LA, and his comment to me was, dude, you should do this and make a living with it. And I was like, if there was enough of a reason for someone to commission me to do enough of them at that size, yeah, I'd do it. Available for purchase, please copy Falconer 18. Yeah.
We've talked about it. I would
Yeah.
sell it for the right price.
Yeah.
And I would build another one that would be better for
And-
me.
Right. And well, there's a plus and minuses because I mean, technically it's Victoria's. So she would have to be okay to sell it, but then I would turn around and build another one. And we've talked about it, but at the same time, it's like, well, I did build it for her, but if someone wanted to buy it, it feels weird because I built it for her and now I'm going to sell it. So would I just build another one for somebody else if they commissioned me to do it? I don't know. That
If you told her that the second one would be free because the other
well,
person.
no, I did explain that to her. I did explain that to her. It's
Well,
like,
of course, that might actually devalue the gift. If you're like, hey, I'm giving you this thing which is free. It didn't cost me anything except my time.
Right.
That might actually make it look like you're not trying very hard. But having watched, having pushed in several 100,000 dots, that time is still something.
exactly.
Well, hopefully you would charge enough that you would profit.
Oh no, yeah, no. I've already figured if I would charge enough where I would be able to make a second one and still have quite a bit of a profit from doing it, which I would probably then turn around, take that profit, and do another project. And like
we need
yeah.
we need a Ferengi meme right now.
Well, I mean, if you stop and think about it, if a side gig is something that anybody does, it takes funding to get a side gig going.
Yeah.
So that's where if I got enough of a profit from selling one, it would turn around to make more to see if it would progress. So,
Well, I was talking with Thomas and I said, if I built it a second time, I understand how to do the process of the logistics of like where to get parts, how to set it up, there was definitely a learning curve, I know, for both of us, and because certainly you and I were texting each other and messaging each other, but there would be a bunch of things I could do more efficiently and more cost effective if I did it a second time around.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's the kind of thing where if I had a side gig building massive mosaics that people want to pay for, I would get a lot better at it and I would get a lot quicker at it.
Yeah.
So actually, I'm kind of curious to know what Mr. Moto thinks about this. Have you ever sold one of your works, and would you ever consider selling a work or doing a commission?
I just finished a commission on a mosaic
Sell.
for a conference for a large company. Yeah. No, I did.
And how was the experience? Did you like it, or did it leave
So
a bad taste?
no, I love. It's the company I work for. So because I'm salaried, they gave me basically 2 months to pull this whole thing together, to put every other project on hold that I normally do or on partial hold.
Okay.
And I was able to do the day job. So it was really intense for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And most of that was because of carpentry. So
the framing.
I had to build a hardwood frame that this entire thing went into so that it could be hung on a wall by the end of it. So no zip ties, none of that business was going on.
Okay.
But what I would have done in retrospect is done the hardwood box. And then I would have used the linoleum adhesive for base plates.
Mhm.
And then I just would have lightly hammered in all of the mosaic things that pin together into that system.
Yeah.
Because like in a corporate environment, I don't think zip ties would have been like,
I think that
would have been a way to go.
I think you still could have, because I mean, I've thought about this because I know, And if I had more
Well,
time,
I'm just trying to impart the way I did.
no,
At your scale, it's not the right way, obviously, but it was built over 2 days. It was at a conference in San Francisco. It was about 24,000 parts, and then it was one of those collaborative things where the public would come up and they'd complete one of the mosaic tiles.
That's awesome. That's
And it was
incredible.
90 of them put in. The theme of the conference was Stronger Together.
Oh, that's great.
So I had all of the different products as icons leading together into a larger overarching icon. And then it was built by the public participating. So it was togetherness and stronger together. And then people could come back, and on the third day, the final day, they could take photos in front of it. I just set it up yesterday in the main office for them. And then they have an option of just storing it away or electing to hang it as artwork. It's going to take maybe a few $100s to buy the base plates and then glue them all down.
Right.
And then they're going to need some serious anchors to get this thing hung, because the weight of it is ridiculous. But
That's what the added wood is definitely going to have doubled or tripled the weight of it for sure.
yeah. So some things you guys got to think about is, if you're going to do a commission like this, the logistics are a huge part. So it wasn't just the frame, and it wasn't just the mosaic and the parts. I had to palletize and wooden crate everything so it could be forklifted into the convention center.
Yeah.
So you have to have enough space to be able to build with using subflooring material. Sorry, what was that?
Space.
Yeah. Oh, space. But I meant literally physical space to be able to build a box. And then also you need a vehicle to get it to wherever the point-to-point logistics shippers who are going to wrap everything and get it into the staging area in the conference center or wherever you sold it going. It's not like, it's not like a conference where you can
Right. Well, no,
rent a vehicle, put it up for display in Chicago and put it down. It's more of this, there's an entire logistics department that's involved with conventions or with corporate gigs or some of these things where like just building the wooden box, the frame itself took like 18 hours.
Yeah. Because my thought process is that.
Yeah. So just think through all the logistics as well, that you have to bake in all those costs and labor, and how do you put it in? Because if you're not going to be there when it's shipped and arrives, you can't be like, oh, a couple studs can fall off. That's not acceptable to an end customer. So you have to start thinking kind of at a more industrial level. That's the only piece of advice I have.
Delivery and travel would have to be included in the cost of something, because there's no way I could just ship it and they could say, oh, here's the instructions on put it together. It would have to be a deliver and hang would be involved with the cost.
Yeah, and I was involved with a museum, a fine art museum in Texas, where I had a piece in there, and that, I flew out for that one because it was that spaceship, the Chrysalis spaceship in the box and all that stuff. So I shipped some of it out, but I'm glad that I was there to, reassemble and put it up and work with the people to get in the display case and just the way I wanted it. But also I was there because some of the pieces that shipped were just obliterated. It wasn't glued down or anything. It was a lot of fragile parts. So I sat with some photographs with another person, and we've reconstructed a couple other artist pieces, or one person or two people in particular. But it's just a different way of thinking. But, I was like, solvent welding exists for a reason after that. I was like, if you're doing a piece that's got to be going around to museums or getting shipped or logistics, then, and if it's never coming apart, if they bought it as an art piece that's not intended to be reused, then, then you got to start thinking like those master builders and break out the solvent.
Yep.
Yeah. But that's it for me. That's not a lot of advice, but it's just a little bit.
Yep.
It's experience. That's all it is. That was my experience.
Just as a, I was looking at the chat as you guys were talking, and saw that Aubrey might have thrown a Dahlia reference in about the
absolutely
making mosaics. And I don't know if you guys popped it up because I was looking at my other screen, but just the one way to make a living. It was like working 9 to 5.
Working 9 to 5. What a way.
So we went back and watched 9 to 5 in the last year, and I have to say it holds up remarkably well. Like,
actually, they were on top of things that are today concept way back
Yeah.
then. Yeah.
like workplace, sexism and power dynamics, and like
It's almost like social justice is still a thing.
it's like it's like it's sad that it isn't irrelevant. Like it's still relevant, and it's still funny. I mean, we were busting out laughing. So it was,
I mean, it's got Dabney Coleman in it. I mean, come on. How could it not be funny?
back to Moto for a second. So it sounds like from the way you described it, because it was your employer, they gave you comp time to build the thing. But how did you handle like the price of the supplies? Like, did you send them an invoice for that kind of stuff?
No, that's the reason I did it this way. Was that I could expense everything, all the materials back.
Okay.
But also, I sat with the event planner in the office and used their corporate credit card for the major big charges.
Okay.
So I didn't even have to like eat the cost and then submit it months later.
So who got the VIP points?
No one, because it went through Target.
Oh.
No, I mean the best way to build the mosaic was to be cost effective, which means no tiles, so no dots, just use plain studs. Mm-hmm. And the Batman art set has a lot of colors in it because
that is the quintessential mosaic set.
And
so
the Target,
we ordered 13 of those, and that was 85% of the parts right there. And then Bricklink to fill in a couple of colors that weren't in there, and you're off and running. So with mosaics, yeah. That Batman set is a godsend. But the only problem is Target puts the Batman sets in a box that's about 12 times the volume needed. And they only put 2 in each box. So I walked in the office one day and the office front receptionist was like, I got a problem here. We've got like Target boxes everywhere. You need to clear out like this entire closet of stuff. But that's if you had it at your house, that would not be a big deal. But it was just strange things like that. But just stuff we're used to, but was very unusual to a corporate client. Going into an office and all of a sudden there's like, a million Target boxes everywhere from UPS or whatever it was.
For a lot of
and also Target delivers quickly, so they got Lego beat on the drop ship.
But in Moto, for some people, that's just like a Tuesday having that many Target boxes show up. So
maybe not me. Yeah, exactly. Batman was a great set.
Yeah,
great recommendation from the Lego store employee on that one.
I think Moktura earlier.
That was it.
That Moktura wanted to travel with me. If anybody wants to know my greatest hits of B&Bs, shoot me a message on Instagram. I could recommend some fun places today. So,
and all that entails. All of that.
So Mr. What is your pack up date? Because I know you got to haul all that stuff from the True North Strong and Free over to Chicago. What's your departure?
You asked me, sorry?
Yeah.
I'm leaving Tuesday, crashing at a friend's house Tuesday night, which will basically 2 hours Tuesday, and then.
So you just need like 1 day before the show.
Yeah. Like I'm gonna be like I'll drive out Wednesday and it's 8 hours. I'll probably take 10 or 12, but just because I'm gonna stop. There's bricks and minifigs or a couple bricks and minifigs on the way, so I'll try and stop there and hopefully pick up a few extra castle figures for my army that I need. Not for Chicago, but just for my castle. So, but I haven't actually planned the trip yet. I just actually realized, 2 days ago, that it's like 14 days away. I went,
yep,
oh my god,
2 weeks.
Yeah. So I'm gonna start planning, but if I think I can hit 2 bricks and minifigs in Michigan when I'm on my way through. So, and then when I come back, I'm gonna go. I'll cross over at Sarnia and head up towards the other Gunning's house, Janie Gunning, Janie Redbrick, as people know her on the webs. And then she's coming back to my house for a week, so that'll be fun.
It will be fun.
So my Lego convention won't stop.
A lot of sorting will be done at your house.
No, I have no sorting to do. She's actually going to help me fix my Classic Space Mosaic because some of the colors are reversed. Like some of the, I noticed it. Well, I mean, I did notice it, but I just never really thought about it. And when I met up with her a couple of weeks back, she's like, "Yeah, there's a few of the helmet colors that are not right because it should go from lightest to darkest." And digitally it does, but because I use transparent colors and they're on a black background, it threw it off,
Got it.
and I couldn't change it at the time. So I'm also placing a bricks and pieces order in the next few days to hopefully get most of those parts in.
That's a sign of
Are
that's
the-
a real sign of trust when you trust another AFOL enough to let them like.
Oh, she's an artist. I totally trust her.
So are you not taking that mosaic with you to Chicago?
It's coming to Chicago,
Okay.
so you can laugh at it. But yeah, there's a few color issues with it. So I fixed one of them partially, but the rest of them are, like I said, it's just the transparent that doesn't look right.
Yeah, because I know I have had my blue one down, the Benny down, because it's just not right, and I want to fix it, and I've just never gotten around to fixing it. So
and
I
with so many shades of blue, Benny would be easy to do at least.
no, you would think,
Yeah.
but it's again that gradient that you want to get the gradient just right. Like
Yeah.
the orange was perfect, the yellow surprisingly was perfect, the pink and
Yeah.
the green were both good. The blue, you either wind up getting it to look like a Galaxy Squad blue, or it just looks like a mish. So I'm still not happy with Benny.
You know, there's the pale light royal blue is now available in dots. That might make your shading
That
a little bit easier.
would probably help. That would probably help.
I have 1,000 in my house, but you can't have them.
Dana, do you
Not
have
when
a
you
key?
come back.
I set booby traps. Don't even try to go in the house.
I don't have time to go that side of Atlanta right now.
I'm Mark. I think I talked over you. You got
Oh, I don't know. I don't even remember what I was going to say.
That's okay. I think Matthew's introduction of what's going on this week lasted for 45 minutes. So
Well, he is traveling.
this. This should have just been. It's a Matt extravaganza. I don't know.
Yeah.
if you can say it, sure.
Although
I'm
if-
doing. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if I'm going to haul some of your habitat things and stuff, then we should arrange a time to.
Yeah. No, I was thinking either I would try and get to you this weekend, or I have to go pick up my mother-in-law from the airport not this coming Sunday, but the Sunday after. So I figured if I'm going down there, I might as well just pop into your house, drop it off, and then go to the airport.
That would work.
That's probably what I'm going to do.
Changing topics for a minute, Mr. Sandlin. This was your first bulk order in a while. Did you get anything that you were particularly excited about this time?
Huh?
Mark, did you get anything in your bulk order that you were super excited about?
Oh, well, I talked about lug bulk stuff the other day, but
Sorry, I wasn't on. I missed Monday, so.
yeah, I mean, I had forgotten how much of profile bricks I've ordered, so yeah, I have a lot of
He's
those.
becoming one of us.
I got dark gray, I got light gray, I got Dana's favorite, nougat,
Nougat.
and I got dark tan as well. Dark tan.
Did you get some
Yeah.
spacemen? Did you get some spacemen?
That's a few.
Did, of course, I did.
How many did you get, Dana? 200?
Just 100.
That's a
Ooh,
lot
look
of
at that. I haven't done that yet, but I need to do that. I need to put them on their plate.
That's intimidating.
I've got all my spare space guys sitting on a plate right now, so
There you go.
All right. Well,
You could do some some photography with all those red spacemen like clones or something.
I even grabbed an additional 50 torsos.
yeah, I don't really know what I'm gonna do with all these space guys. I got
Does it
extra.
matter? Does it really matter?
I'm
It
just
doesn't.
saying my
Just,
You know,
it just matters to have them. That's all that matters.
I figured somebody somewhere down the line I could use them. For some,
Yeah.
maybe trade some guys or.
Exactly.
Nick said,
A good chunk
basically-
of my orange spacemen have been gifts and trades and stuff like that. So, and Nick just put that. I mean, that's all really matters.
That's right.
Oh,
Just
this-
drop it on the table at
Yep.
Brick World, and I'm done.
And walk away and say, "Hey, I'm done."
that's what Nick's displays always are.
Absolutely.
He's just flexing all his armies.
Oh, and just for those of you who may or may not know, but my package from Captain Xavier arrived today, so I got
Nice.
my next to night figures. Or actually, it arrived yesterday, but I don't think I posted it until today. So, if one of the Ericksons is watching, we love you. We love you. But I'm going to talk about just something else for real quick. Did you guys know that there's this new Friends flower poly bag out there?
I've seen it.
Yes.
This has got great parts.
Really?
Yes.
Matthew, from your perspective, just the flower parts and stuff and the colors that they are, there is light nougat dome.
Ooh.
Light nougat.
Ooh.
Not nougat, not dark
Light.
nougat, but nougat, flesh
Speaking
tone
of-
pieces.
Speaking
Or,
of Dolly
or
Parton,
I call it SPFF 200.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of pastels and florals and whatnot, but the real reason that I had to go get this, and then once I opened it up and I was all like, yeah, it's been out for a while. Robert's right. But I went to go build something. Specifically, I was building the Polaris One Space Lab, and the rocket I needed to be able to fit the Space Baby in the little rocket here, which has these cool little fold out pieces that I also had to order the red pieces for. But to make the baby fit inside, I needed a 4x4 round with the hole cut out in
Yeah.
white.
Mhm.
Did you realize that part didn't exist in white until I think this year?
Didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. Again, whenever I build digitally, I mean, it tells you quickly whether that part exists in that color or not, and that's easy to do. But then you come to find out that when you go pulling parts out of your inventory, and I'm thinking, oh, I've got to have a bunch of these. I must certainly have a bunch of these. And I'm like, how do I not have that in white? And I go look on Bricklink and, oh, it came out in 2023, and it only came in 4 sets. The DB1, the Star-Lord helmet, this flower poly bag, and some other like parts pack, like a classic building set. That's the only thing that these have come in white. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm gonna go grab a couple of flower packs just so I have this part. And then I opened up the bag and I'm like, there's a lot of cool parts in here. The flesh tone parts were the ones that caught my attention. So that was cool.
And Dana, this is why some people order new parts and new colors off of the website as soon as they become available.
But the thing is, though, that and I know New Elementary goes through and shows you all these new parts and these colors and this and that. But who's got time for that? And I mean, I'd have to develop a spreadsheet system and all that, and it's just too much work. So, but while I've got the center,
You don't just memorize it like the rest of us?
evidently not.
Guess not. It's too bad.
I know it's probably been a while since I shared some things, and if you're not following me on Instagram, so I did build the Space at this week.
Nice.
It's very fun to add to my collection. I did the FX Star Patroller.
awesome.
Or no, the FX Star Patroller, that's the other one. This is the XT. The
Is it
FX
like
I
the
still
sound?
have to build this week. I did the little hauler. Slanted wilderness in there. And then, of course, today was all about the Robot Command Center.
Oh,
Ooh.
love it.
Rocket in the back,
Shot and chaser.
Party in the front.
party in the front. Even the little removable vehicles.
That's awesome.
Great. Very, very cool.
So that's what I've got going on. I'm actually in the process of building the next one that I will reveal tomorrow if I get it done this evening, or I'll do it tomorrow during a conference call and still reveal it tomorrow. And then I'm down to, I designed the FX. So I've got 3 designed that I still need to build. And I've got 5 more. Is it 5 more still to build, to design? Let me see here, real quick. 6. And that's if I do the super build the super modular building one, which I halfway don't want to do. I halfway want to stop at 73 and not do the super instructions for the that bastardization of taking the TriStar Voyager and with the Surface Rover. It's ugly. It's ugly. I barely even consider it a set. So, but I'm getting close. So I got to get all that done. I got to get them designed this weekend because if I got to order parts, I need a little bit of wiggle room to get them here. But I think those are going to be a carry-on anyway, so it's not like I have to have them done until I'm walking out the door, in theory. But that's what I got going on.
But
And wow, wait for me to just kill the conversation.
go ahead, yeah.
I was just gonna say I pulled in my space train moon base thing that I had at Atlanta. That fell off the track a couple of times, and I set it up kind of behind me. You can barely see it, but it's back there. And I started running it, and it's not reading the sensors at all now. So I would get to the end, and it's supposed to see the green tile in reverse directions, and it just whoop right off every single time. I'm like, what's going on? So I haven't changed the batteries in it, so I think I'll just flip the batteries out in case they're almost dead and just it's not.
And that's the problem, maybe.
And yeah, and so I'm assuming the problem is, but I am testing out my brakes in the end because I put some of the older style rockets, like the old rocket brackets from Classic Space. I put those at the end to hopefully try and stop it, and it kind of slows it down, but sometimes it doesn't because they just pop right off. So, but it's a work in progress.
You got a week and a half.
Yeah.
You got all the time in the world. No rush.
Easy peasy. Easy
Sure.
peasy.
Oh, jeez.
Well, there's lots and lots of planning going on, lots of preparations for, I guess, all of us are going to this world. So, yeah, lots.
Yeah, the one interesting thing I'm doing this year for my lug is I gave the option of what I call the Cannonball Express. So I said we created a Google Sheet months ahead of time. Everybody could register their mock, and I said, if you don't want to drive the 1,008 miles over 2 days one way, I'll rent the van. And we'll pack it up. Little did I know that the stuff that's coming from Denver, I have to rent a 14-foot moving truck.
That's what I drove last year.
It's
insane.
Yeah, it's nuts. But I think it's going to be cool because a lot of folks who haven't been there are bringing these like large multi-collab slabs of brick along, which will be nice. Other than that, tonight I'm packing up my. I'm trying to get all my giveaway sets done. So that the people who are at Brickworld who are going to get these can get them in person from me rather than shipping them in a more impersonal way as a nice surprise.
Those are cool.
Yeah, they're kind of fun. But that's why I had to keep muting as I'm going through all the 10 copies of a million little parts here, and they're making a lot of crinkly sounds.
That's okay. Mark has to mute me all the time.
So, Moto, I think your Denver people are part of the problem. I don't know if you're aware, but the floor space requests for Brickworld absolutely exploded over last year's number. And one of our Atlanta folks who originally was in Indiana is on the planning board, and apparently they were utterly shocked at how many people are asked for floor space. And I know that you guys are bringing stuff as a lug, as are a bunch of us from Atlanta, and they said that they tried to politely encourage people who are local and bring the same thing every year to maybe not bring it this year.
Well, yeah, I saw the email.
Okay.
Yeah, and everything that we've put in there is new to Brickworld. I'm bringing something that I built years ago, but it's never been displayed at Brickworld before. And then the only thing that I'm bringing is more of that, like Sir Meows a lot. I didn't even register it, and I'm not going to put it on the table. I'm just going to keep it under and wear it occasionally. But yeah, everything is new. It's just that from Denver we had a couple folks come, but it was mostly, what you expect from a lug is a table of mixed material. And that will be there. But now we're bringing some of our larger display pieces that we move around locally and take to like FanX and stuff like that, or to Brick Slopes. But because of the free van, I think that opened up a lot of possibility to have our lug get more exposure than, being in the middle of the United States and never getting to the larger cons on the coasts or by the Great Lakes, kind of around the edges of the U.S. Look under the table. That's right.
And just for the record, Brickworld is currently up to 1,593 registrants. So 3 people registered since my chat last night.
Yeah, the only thing to be aware of is anyone in the past who's decided to build at the last minute and register the day of, you're done for because there's no table space. You're cooked.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I think there's going to be some disappointed folks walking up the first Wednesday or Thursday for check-in they're going to get shocked about, the fact that you actually have to plan these things months in advance. The last minute stuff's not going to work anymore, I think, this year.
Well, that's one conversation I had with Connor was, and Dana will have the same issue. I have to assemble mine flat on the ground, and it eats up a lot of floor space while you're putting it together. It's one of the reasons I really want to have it upright by the end of Wednesday, because lots of folks don't roll in until Thursday, and I'm going to be eating up part of the walkway while I'm putting it together. And so I want to get my thing together and upright so that other people can bring their roller carts in and all that kind of stuff. But it sounds like the walkways are going to have to be smaller than they were last year. So I'm trying to be helpful and get mine out of the walkway.
That's a good ethos. It's kind of bizarre. I'm wondering why they didn't just eliminate all those people sitting around the middle. If you crush out all that middle crap with all the chairs, problem solved. They can pack at least a third more stuff in there.
Well, I think they are eliminating a lot of that.
You mean the center, like the inside of the islands, you mean?
Yeah, just take out the inside of the islands, and if people want to talk about their mocks, they have to stand between the Tensa barriers and you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, no, because we had the same problem at Atlanta BrickCon this year where, granted, it was the first year, they had first year challenges and stuff like that in that particular way. But, I mean, the amount of space that we had inside of a circle was ridiculous.
Yeah.
That we could have they could have done the table organization a little better and had far more walking space and more display space. It was just a lot of space that was wasted.
Yeah.
Can I say space a few more?
So I'm sorry, I wanted to answer a comment while it's here from Octura. I am bringing a friendship. I didn't coordinate with you guys, so I did not register it. And there's going to be a little bit of a surprise with that build because I hear Martin's going to be there as well. So, I'm bringing my friendship build along the way, and it doesn't have to be displayed, but it'll be there.
Aubrey's coming too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I forgot I did mention, and because it just didn't register in my head because it's already sitting in my mosaic or with my my monochromes, but my friendship timber from last year is also coming, so I forgot to mention that too. So that is also.
That's a fun event. I love it. I used to do ship timber, and now I'm kind of converted over to friendship timber.
So Moto, I have family, as I think you know, in the Denver area, and I kind of at one point I was kicking around, wouldn't it be fun to take my mosaic to Denver so my parents and my sister, extended family could come over and see it. And then I think you told me that the only thing that's there is one of the sort of corporate events, that there isn't really a fan convention. When is Moto a fan convention?
There's Brickfest Live that comes through. They're going to do 2 stops on their tour. That's the only Lego-centric larger scale event. There's smaller events which are 1 day only. You have to set up within an hour or 30 minutes. So I don't think that'll work for you.
No.
FanX is already booked, but that one has over 100,000 visitors.
What is it?
FanX. It's like our version of Comic-Con.
Okay.
It's like 125,000 visitors there. Brick Slopes is the convention that's closest to us, but that's another 8 hours into Utah.
Yeah, it's not close.
We are looking into starting our own convention because we're taking notes from Atlanta BrickCon, and we're thinking of trying to host one out of Denver at some point, but that would be your opportunity.
I would come if you do one if you do one in Denver.
If you make it, they will come.
I will come. That's for sure.
Yeah, instead of a cornfield, it's going to be a gigantic granite cliff, and you're going to come out of the
mosaic.
Yeah, I was going to say out of the slot canyon. You're going to come raging down with the flash flood, riding it with your little waveboard, James Bond style and visual effects and stuff. But yeah,
I mean, in a perfect world, I'd prefer it to be during the summer when I'm not teaching, but I know you're not going to pick the date just for me. So
it's not up to me. Yeah, whoever's going to plan it. Fleet, Mark, you've been really talkative. I mean, you're taking over the conversation, Mr. Fleetmark. Is there anything you wanted to bring up while we're here and over time?
It's hard to get a word in edgewise sometimes.
I can tell you've been very polite.
I wasn't
very politely nodding, very politely putting up the animated, card when we needed it.
Well, yeah, I've been minding the chat and putting up comments and stuff like that. But
well, that is part of his job, though. So
yeah. But we have sailed past the top of the hour here, and it's about time that we land the plane, as Fazum would say. So I appreciate all you guys joining us tonight, and everybody in the chat who hung out and enjoyed the show with us. And we will be back on Monday. I don't know if Fazum will be back on Monday because he said he was going to have a real busy couple of weeks. But at the very least, myself and Dana, Jeff. Don't know if Matthew will be joining us on Monday, but we'll do a Messy Monday show Monday, one way or the other. Maybe Dolly will join us.
I only come under certain, lunar and solar constellation alignments. The grand alignment has to occur before I show up. But yeah.
But
hi, Dolly.
Everybody have a really good weekend, and we will see you guys on Monday. And as Fazum would say, be awesome and build awesome and be kind to your neighbor. And have a great weekend. So,
Everybody, have a happy Thursday.